Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Introduction to the author. Percy Bysshe Shelley was one of the major English Romantic poets. Shelley is accepted as one of the finest lyric poets to have written in English. He is regarded as one of the greatest lyric and philosophical poets in the English language. Shelley is best known for his classic poems such as Ozymandias, Ode to the West Wind, To a Shylock, Music When Soft Voices Die, The Cloud, and The Mask of Anarchy. Introduction to the poem. Shelley wrote Ozymandias in 1817 as part of a poetry contest with a friend and had it published in The Examiner in 1818 under the pen name Glurests. The title of Ozymandias refers to an alternate name, the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II. In Ozymandias, Shelley describes a crumbling statue of Ozymandias as a way to portray the transience of political power and to praise art's power of preserving the past. Although the poem is a 14-line sonnet, it breaks from the typical sonnet tradition in both its form and rhyme scheme, a tactic that reveals Shelley's interest in challenging conventions, both political and poetic. The poem. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command. Actually, the poet met a traveler who came from a remote land. He told the poet that he saw the remains of a statue in the desert. Two huge legs made of stone stood, and the remaining part of the statue, the upper body, was missing. Another part of the statue, the face, lay on the sand nearby. It was damaged and broken into pieces. Antique land, an ancient country visage, the face, and a sneer means an unkind look. Tell that its sculptor will those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. Actually, here we can see the statue is broken apart, but you can still make out the face of a person. The face looks stern and powerful, like a ruler. The sculptor did a good job at expressing the ruler's personality. The ruler was a wicked guy, but he took care of his people. These expressions continue to exist even after the king's death through this lifeless statue. The sculptor's hands copied the king's ruthless expressions and mocked at them while the king's stone heart brought, brought out these expressions on his face. So you can see how the expressions have been brought out in his face. That he says that the sculptor has done a very good job bringing out the personality, how the ruler was when he lived. So when we see him now, we can clearly say that he was a person who stood for his for his passions and for his way of behaving, his rudeness. So all this can be seen from his face. And on the pedestal, these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. So very simple over here. He introduces the king Ozymandias. The king introduced himself as Ozymandias, the most powerful king. He ordered all the powerful kings of the world to look at his huge statue and feel belittled in front of the mightiest king Ozymandias. So tomorrow, when other kings see, they should all be very stunned at seeing this Ozymandias, mightiest king's statue. Okay, the point says that now nothing else other than this engraving remains. The statue broken down with the passage of time, and its broken pieces could be seen lying around. The vast desert stretched all around, and it seemed to be endless. The statue of the great king Ozymandias was nowhere to be seen. Actually, by as time passes, through the passage of time, we can see the statue broken and it's been all thrown as pieces everywhere. The vast desert stretched all around and seemed to be endless. So the nature is endless. Okay, it is always living and life. But the one who thought that he'll live forever, but at least by his statue, is no more now. So we can see the nature. Only nature is the biggest of everything. However, the king finds or king thinks that after years together he would even live in the statue, or his great powerfulness and other things will be displayed through this statue. It is nothing at all. This is what it proves. We can see the meanings of colossal means very large in size, like the waste, the remains. Which so now we could see the summation. It is about a ruined statue which has become so with the passage of time, and here we can correlate it with Shakespeare's sonnet, not marble nor the gilded monuments. So you can see it's nothing at all, not the marbles or the monuments or whatever it is, only the time. Through the passage of time, everything goes off. It's going to be ruined by the passage of time. The title Ozymandias is the throne name of the Egyptian king Ramesses. The poem talks about his foolish desire to immortalize himself by erecting a statue. He thinks like he can immortalize himself. He can, after his death, he thought like he'll be immortal and he can live through the statue, and people might think that is the mightiest thing, and that is why he just erected such a throne, such a great throne or statue for himself. The poet meets a person who has been to an ancient place in the deserts, Egypt. He tells the poet about the ruined statue of the great powerful king Ozymandias. It had been destroyed with the passage of time. So, actually, how this poem comes into the picture is he hears a person who comes from the desert who just crosses the ancient places in Egypt, and he comes and says, and I could see that how the powerful man's statue has been thrown or destroyed or thrown away into pieces through the passage of time. There were only the two legs which stood on a platform, and the upper part of the body was nowhere to be seen. Only two legs that can be seen, and the upper part of the body don't know where it has been thrown, so nowhere it is to be seen. The face of the statue lay buried in the sand. He praises the talent of the artist as a minutest expression, and wrinkles had been perfectly copied by him. So minutest of the minutest. The expressions can be seen. The wrinkles, like when you grow old, the wrinkles also has been nicely, you know, done by that sculpture. So he praises the artist more than that person, like more than the king. The irony of Ozymandias is quite daunting for the reader. He talks about the forces of mortality and mutability, described brilliantly in concluding lines, which will eventually erode and destroy all our lives. So, it's nothing but whatever it is, we are all mortal, and one day or the other, this life is going to end, and this time is going to destroy us. The universal truth is that all humans will face death and get decayed. There is a special justice in the way triumphs are.